I am the ghost of Christmas future. That's one of the lines I use with some of my younger clients who are in their 30s, who've just been promoted to leadership positions, who are starting to become affluent, who are getting nicer cars, who are getting married, have kids, and it looks like they're winning at life and feeling invincible, feeling like they can handle everything. Even if internally they don't feel like they can handle it, on the outside it looks like they're winning, 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 and it's all good. And when you're winning and when things are all good, it's really hard to make a change. It's really hard to find the gumption to proactively do things for the future. Yeah, you'll put money away for your in your 401k and you'll do things like that. But will you spend the money to go get a referee, to go get help with your marriage? Who goes into marriage uh, uh, knowing how to have relationship? How many of our parents have had the kind of relationships that we want? And that's no knock to them. They didn't have the access to all the experts. If you listen to the Mastering Midlife podcast, you'll talk. There's so many relationship coaches they have that talk about, we put money into our careers, we put money into our education, we even put money into our fitness, but do we put money into our relationships and learning how to be better spouses, better partners in life, so that after the new wears off, after the kids start wearing on us, after we start getting bored of each other, how do we 10 years, 20, 30, 40 years later build the kind of relationships that become more intimate when the initial fire wanes? How do we find those fires of intimacy that are so much more luscious in our 50s than we could have ever imagined? That's something that I learned in my 50s. I talk about health, the putting the pennies in the bank for your health in your 30s, pay dividends in your 50s. When people look at me and they say, Mark, you can't be 58. It's like, yeah, no, I do know that I have eaten pretty healthy for the last 30 years, right? So that is something, I've exercised and eaten healthy. Those are pennies I've put in that jar. So putting energy and focus on that, in our careers, in our personal lives, in the things that interest us. Yes, there is a time to be totally focused on running and gunning. There's totally a time to be focused on burning the candles at both ends to get our careers going. But there's also time to look at our personal lives. What is it? What do we do to enhance? What are our hobbies? Whatever our hobby is, if we don't have a hobby, it actually takes away from the success of our career. If you're a woodworker and you're not woodworking, there's a dimension to you that you're not bringing to your career, to your relationship, to your children, to all of that, traveling, all those things. I am the ghost of Christmas future, even if you're in your 50s. I'm the ghost of Christmas future. I use the phrase, tomorrow's Mark is going to be really happy that today's Mark did such and such. Like especially with exercise, tonight, or like now I'm counting calories. That's a new thing. I have an app and I'm counting calories. I've lost 5 pounds in a week. It's crazy. But dinner time Mark is really going to thank lunchtime Mark for having just a couple hundred calories less. So getting into that mindset of not living for the future, but really caring for tomorrow's you, for next year's you. Another way to think about this is the 10-10-10 rule. Suzy Welsh, it's kind of ironic that I'm bringing her up. Jack Welsh, her husband, just recently died. Suzy Welsh has a book called the 10-10-10 rule. So whenever you're making decisions, whenever you're making choices, a great way to think about it is, how am I going to feel about this choice in 10 minutes? How am I going to feel about this choice in 10 hours? How am I going to feel about this choice in 10 weeks? The way she talks about it is going to the gym. In 10 minutes, I don't really feel like going to the gym. I just don't want to go to the gym. I want to go home, have a glass of wine, and kick up. But in 10 hours, I may be really happy that I went to the gym. It's funny because I swim now, and I'm always happy that I swam. I'm not happy that I'm swimming. I'm just always happy that I have swum. And then in 10 weeks, if you're doing this and you're making these decisions, you'll have put in, 10 weeks of fitness. So 10-10-10 rule by Suzy Welsh is really, really good. The ghost of Christmas future. If you can think of yourself as the benefactor for your later self, that really helps in your decision-making process. So not only am I the ghost of Christmas future, you are the ghost of Christmas future for yourself. What can you do for yourself now, today, that tomorrow's you will thank you for, that next year's you will thank you for? Thinking about it that way really helps us not only invest in our 401k, but invest in our health, in our relationships, in our careers, in our total well-being. I'm telling you right now, you meditate in the morning, later on you is totally going to thank you. All right. I love you. Have a great rest of the day.